Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Mary B.
Welcome to the Happiest Girls podcast. Episodes will drop every Monday morning, and each week we'll be tackling a new topic, chatting about motherhood, singlehood, health, wellness, and everything in between.
Tune in each week as we discuss what it means to be the happiest girl.
Hey, Kate.
Hey, Mary B.
We're back.
Episode 2, Season 2.
Wow, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
Because it literally was just yesterday.
Yes, we're recording 2 days in a row because I am going skiing next week.
Shocker.
And I have to travel for work. So thank you for, being patient with me because this is just what fits with my schedule. So sorry I don't have a crazy weekend recap for you.
Yeah, no crazy weekend recap. And honestly, I don't even want to go over any reality TV because it's going to be old news by...
I know, tragic. But maybe the reunion for Love is Blind will be so spicy we'll have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
do you watch Summer House?
No.
That was really the only other thing. I haven't watched Real Housewives of Miami, the 3rd reunion ep on Peacock yet, but apparently it was really good, so I'm going to watch that tonight.
Okay, fine.
So,
well, okay.
but you don't even watch, so.
I don't watch, sorry. I'm a VPR purist, though I've been thinking of dabbling more into reality TV because I feel like it's a really good social study.
Yes.
And also, Michelle Obama watches it. So if she watches it, then I feel like I should be too.
Yes, you should be.
She's an intelligent woman.
It's just an interesting study on womanhood.
Yeah.
And the most fascinating part of it, well, there's a lot of fascinating parts of it, but for me personally, something that really gets me is the whole idea started with Real Housewives of the OC, and it was literally housewives. Like, women who their husbands worked, they stayed home, ladies who lunched. The only person who worked was Vicky, and she is to this day still a very successful insurance agent.
Love that.
But now, the whole thing is women come on to have successful businesses. And to get it, not always, but to get attention for their businesses, maybe to get a divorce, and then they can have an income outside of their husband, like get some financial stability. So it's interesting how it's like the opposite of what a true housewife is.
Yeah, that's true.
They're all, like Bethany Frankel. She created this whole empire.
I kind of love
because
that.
of Real Housewives.
It's become turned on its head. There's a metaphor in there somewhere.
Yes. The only really true housewife that I can think of is Crystal Minkoff. And she's not even really a true housewife because she has a very successful coconut water business. But she never talks about it on the show. Because since Bethany Frankel made so much money on Skinny Girl, they now put in their contract that if you advertise your business on the show, Bravo and NBC get a cut. So she never talks about it. She has this $100 million coconut water company that lets the families own the farms. I want to say it's in Vietnam or somewhere over in Asia. And then they just take the product and sell it. They buy it from the farmers, and then they sell it in Costco, whatever. Yeah.
They're the middleman.
Exactly. So
I love that.
It's very interesting. And she is married to, a very, very wealthy director. The guy, I know you don't watch, so this is why I'm educating her. But he did...
Feeling educated.
He did, Lion King. He did all this stuff. So he's older, but, very successful. So, I'm sure there's more examples, but that's just, all I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, I love the not universal, but the connected nature of the housewives. It's we're all watching the same thing. When I was at Elsewhere last weekend, a friend of my roommate's was there, and I hadn't seen her in so long, but I knew she watched Vanderpump Rules. So I go up to her immediately, and I was like, what did you think of the new season? It's a great segue. And she's like, did you hear about Jackson Brittany? Yes. So, it's just something that we collectively as women, and it's not just women, but, we collectively can come to common ground on, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Truly, I
have a part of something.
I have multiple friends that I can just say a random reality TV star's name, and they'll just immediately know what I'm saying, and then we'll just we'll just start talking about it. Could be Clay did this, and they're and then I could be oh my gosh, Dorit did this, and also I started watching The Bachelor for this season because
everybody's doing
that. I keep seeing about it, so I was I gotta be in the know. I don't want to feel left out.
Sure.
And that show is interesting. Let me tell you what. Could you, like, first of all, like, I could never, like, fight for a man's attention because that's just not in my DNA. Like, I'm so delusional. I'd be like, you need to come to me and, like, beg for my attention. So, first of all, like, the girls are like, oh, I didn't get time to talk to him. Like, I just, like, couldn't, like, fight with other women for that. And then there's this one girl who literally just, like, makes up stories about this other girl, Maria. Like, she literally, like, lies and, like, tells the Bachelor, oh, she said blah, 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 but it's just not true. Mm-hmm. And the girl broke the fourth wall and was like, you know this is all on camera, right? Like, you can just rewatch the footage and know that I didn't say that. It's very fascinating.
I love how we start out, Kate. I don't really want to talk about reality TV.
I know, sorry. Okay, we've been here. First of all, Real Housewives, which is what we were talking about, is literally, it's in Women's Month. Like, obviously, we have to talk about that.
It's National
Women's Day,
and
that's what our podcast is about.
Yeah,
is National Women's Day and, like, the importance of women. Bachelor, not so much. Anyways, we've been burying the lead, which is that Mary B brought cookies. Yesterday she brought coffee. Today she brought cookies. I'm spoiled. So should we break them out?
Sure.
Do you want to tell the backstory of these cookies?
So that all I have is that Chip City today and tomorrow is doing a special with these black and white cookies, and I just wanted. There's a Chip City not too far away from me, and I really wanted to try it.
Not an ad, but if you wanted to sponsor us and send us some more cookies for us to review.
Delicious.
Ooh, I love a black and white cookie. You know who's supposed to have a really good black and white cookie is Bread's Bakery on the Upper East Side, which is also where people tell me to go get croissants with Dictator.
I've actually been to Bread's. It's good.
Because you had
I had their croissant. It was okay.
Oh, but not your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But apparently they do, like, their own little take on a black and white cookie, and it's supposed to be really good.
But this is definitely a take.
Yeah, this looks so interesting. It looks...
I feel like we need a knife to cut it.
Yeah, looks dirty, but that's okay.
What do you mean dirty?
Not dirty, but, like, messy, I should say.
Oh, I was like, what's on there? So, Kate is away.
Do you have anything to say?
What's everybody up to? What's the 411?
You can talk more about what we're talking about today?
Yeah, so today we just wanted to talk about all things women because it's Women's Month, it's International Women's Day, and I love being a woman.
I love being a woman.
I was chuckling this morning because with some friends I went to, like, a women's run held by Nike, and we were all, I had said, you know that you are, like, on the wrong side of, like, society when they have to have, like, a day and a month for you. Kind of like when you have, like, a nurse's appreciation week or a teacher appreciation week. It's like, that's
when you know you're underpaid, truly.
That's when you know that, like, something is wrong in your everyday life.
Yeah, because do you think
there is a finance bro month or day?
No.
So, yeah, but I also, Happy Women's Day.
Imagine if there was, like, International CEO Day. You're like, what? Every day CEO Day.
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
Okay, quick taste test, and then we'll get back
to
chatting.
Here's the chocolate
side,
top, but
and chocolate. Oh, and there's, like, chocolate on the inside.
Too. I'm not very good at doing this whole thing.
Oh, very good.
Oh, wow. Oh, my. Oh, wow.
Very good.
Very good.
Okay.
Very, very good. Oh, my gosh.
I can't believe you a cookie.
Oh, you brought two, right?
I brought two.
Thank
God.
God.
There's another one.
Wow. Wow. I've never had a black and white cookie that has chocolate in the cookie part.
It's very good, everyone.
Wow.
So, okay, I guess you're not going to be able to get this because this episode's going to come out in 2 weeks.
Oh.
But if they ever do
we'll
it
post
again,
it on Instagram today.
I highly recommend.
But, yeah, wow.
Treating ourselves because we are women and it's International Women's Day.
Yeah, you deserve a little treat, so go get yourself a little treat. Okay, while you're enjoying your cookie, I wanted to ask you, if you could have brunch with any woman, alive or dead, who would you want to have lunch with?
Alive or dead?
Do you want me to go first? So you can
I can go first.
Okay, my one, I mean, there's so many, obviously. But one that comes to my head is Melinda French Gates, because
that would be a good
she's
one.
incredible. She's an incredible philanthropist. She really is a strong proponent of women's rights, and also health, like global health. They do a lot of stuff all over the world, And I just think that's awesome when you can use your wealth and your power for good. I think everybody should take, like all the billionaires out there should take a lesson out of her book and imitate that. So that's who I would want to hang out with. So if she ever wants to come on the pod, I'm going to see if, maybe Jen will come on the pod.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. You kind of put me on the spot here.
Sorry.
I don't really know. I'll have to think.
It's all right. You can think. And by the end, we'll circle back.
Okay.
And you're probably going to say some, like, incredible, like, I don't even know, author or...
I don't know, because a lot of the authors that I love were, like, sad. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't want to have dinner with them. I just don't know if they'd be up for it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I would love to have, like, lunch with Virginia Woolf, but...
yeah, she would be sad to have lunch with.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know her personality. I just know that she was kind of a depressed person, sadly.
Yeah. She made great art because of it. Women of the arts.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I don't even know if I'll know by the end of this session.
All right, well, I have mine. You all can comment yours. What is your favorite thing about being a woman? Because I'm going to be very honest here. When I first found out, when I was pregnant with Dictator, that I was having a girl, I was sad. And scared because there are a lot of really, really hard things about being a woman and raising a girl and a woman. You have to worry about a lot more things than when you just have a boy. And so I was like, oh my gosh, now obviously Spencer and I are both responsible for making sure she has spatial awareness. She understands her body. She understands that it's not okay for anybody to ever touch her. But, like, there's also this period of time where she can't communicate with me. And she's not with me 24/7. And, like, I don't know I'm not always aware of what's happening. And, like,
that's
obviously
boys too,
obviously bad things can happen to boys. Of course, absolutely.
Lots of bad things happen
and so
to boys.
you have to worry about predators. You have to educate her on,
that's true for boys too.
Assault and all these things. And I actually think it's incredibly important if you're a mom of a boy that you're educating him on those things too. That's a very, very, very good point. And also educating him to not be that way. And so I just think there's a little bit more pressure when you're a girl. And we were always told, don't run after 6 p.m. Don't ever leave a drink alone. Like, my dad would be like, if there are more than 2 large men in the room, leave. Like,
seriously, the new theme of this is Dad saying things to you that he never said to me.
Oh my gosh, Dad
we have 2 different fathers.
Dad wrote me this, like, I had this instant in college, freshman year, where this guy shoved me against the wall and poured a beer on my head.
I know this story.
And I called Dad at like 3 a.m. Like, I don't know, like, what was he gonna do?
Why did you call Dad? I would not.
I was so
anybody
upset.
else.
I was so upset, and like, what was he gonna do? But like, what do you do in that moment? Like, I was like shooken, like taken aback by it, because like I'd never been around a man that was like aggressive towards me.
Man, I would have been like,
yeah.
There were no men in the room that defended you.
I was also drinking. It was like literally such a blur. I'm sure there were, but it was like literally such a blur that like me and like my 2 other friends that I were with, that like the guy was like messing with too, like we just like got out of the house and left. Like, I'm sure there was someone that like stood up for us, but like it's like such a blur. It was literally the middle of the night. I had also been drinking. Like,
yeah, it's college.
And Dad wrote me this like long list of like things.
What did it say?
I wish I still had the email. I bet if I asked my friend Karen, who was with me at the time, because like I think I forwarded her the email because she asked for it. But one of them was, if there are more than 2 large men in a room, you need to leave.
Wow.
And he was like, this guy was an athlete, and he did actually end up getting kicked out of the school. Mm-hmm. So he was bad news already.
He clearly deserves.
But Dad was like, only hang out with old linemen. They're slow to rile, but still vigilant. That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, things I never got.
Well, you were hanging out around better people than me.
I was
you weren't getting yourself in bad situations when you were 18.
I hung around very few athletes.
Yeah.
They just weren't my cup of tea. Though there were a lot of nice athletes. We just never really were, like, personality compatible.
Yes.
But, like, yeah, a lot of great ones out there.
Definitely, absolutely.
But I think that
Anyways,
that's
that's my
so
story.
fair about dictator. I think that there's a lot of things that come with being a woman that are just very painful bodily, mentally, that men just will never have to deal with. So that's so real. And I would say my favorite part of being a woman is female friendships. That's, I think, something that men are not the best at. Like, some men are. I don't want to just paint with a broad brush, but if I were to make a generalization, I have had this conversation a few times with different friends, male and female, and I just don't think that there's the same sort of intimacy that exists broadly among male friendships. I will say, when this came from a perspective of one of my male friends, that intimacy, like building intimacy, can look different. So I think a lot of the ways that men will bond is through activity, and that's like one way of bonding. And for women, it's a lot of like conversation. Not that it can't be activity, but like think about like your sports teams, like you bond with those people through playing sports. And so I think for men, it's like pick up basketball or various other activities. But I think for women, it's like if something happens in my life, I will tell my girlfriends. And for men, I just don't think that like natural urge is there to have that sort of like depth of friendship. Not that it doesn't exist, but I feel like it's just less normalized in male culture. And that is one thing I feel like that we get, is we can be super lovey-dovey with our friends, and it's so normal, where I think for men, it's less comfortable for them or less accepted for them to be like pretty lovey-dovey with their friends.
Yes, my female friendships are the most important relationships in my life, aside from with my husband and my family. They're so deep and rich, and a lot of people will say, my husband is my best friend, my husband is my best friend. And I do think, like, on some level, like Spencer, like I'm Spencer's best friend, but
I feel like you say
he's not necessarily.
You are always saying that Spencer's your best friend.
I wouldn't say that. He is.
You guys are best friends.
He is the most important person in my life, 100%. Like,
you guys are best friends.
But I do think that my female friendships are also incredibly important to me. Mm-hmm. And
she coughed on it. What does that mean? Does it mean it's false? Is she lying because she coughed? This is the Holy Spirit.
I need a drink of your water. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you come from a different perspective of actually being married. I think that person is your best friend, but I think there's a difference between having a male best friend and a female best friend. Like, female best friends, Spencer won't be, like, there are just things that Spencer, just by nature of him being a man, will never be able to relate to you on a certain levels.
Yes.
And just, like, he can be your best friend in life, but, like, there's also, like, an extreme importance in having that female best friend who can meet you in your, like, female ness.
I would not be able to be that type of person that once I'm in a relationship, I just drop my girlfriends. Like, I always need
I think some people
girlfriends around me.
I think some people just do that for various reasons.
Yeah.
I think that can also just be like a lesson to be learned in life, which I think is important for people to learn, just as life is a journey. I think some people do that in a relationship and then realize that they had made a mistake. I think that's a normal, like, female experience.
Yes.
So
completely agree, and that was actually one of the topics someone wrote in that they wanted to talk about.
Okay, well, we're getting up in time, so
importance of female friendships. So that was very good. That was,
we got some good.
My favorite part about being a woman, not that you asked, is the fact that
I assumed you were going to answer your own question like you did last
time. Biological women or men that were born women. The fact that we can give birth.
Oh, yeah.
And men cannot.
That's a good one. You can literally bring life into this world. Ladies, do you ever think about how, like, depending on where you're at in your cycle, you could just go out and, like, make a child.
Create a human. I'm literally growing, like, fingers, toes, arms, legs.
You're growing eyes.
Organs, a kidney.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Insanity.
And then that person will be born and change the world.
Change the world.
Crazy. That's
change the world.
I agree. That, I think, second to my female friends, I mean, I would say that would be the next thing. I guess like that's just like not so much on my mind right now because I'm not even close to that stage of my life. But
which is totally fair. It's just so crazy.
Amazing.
Okay, lots of questions.
Also, we're representing the 2 schools I went to.
Yeah, you're so smart. She went to Notre Dame and then she went to Northwestern.
Woo!
I didn't go to either of those.
Go
schools.
Cats, go Irish.
Okay, someone said things you would tell your younger self. So let's relate it to
Oh wow, this is a good question.
like womanhood. Things you would tell yourself.
Oh my gosh, things I would tell myself. I mean, I struggle sometimes with these types of questions because I wonder if I like were to have a time machine and go back and tell myself something.
Would you actually change?
Would I be different today than I am now? And I don't want to be any different today than I am now.
Yeah, so you couldn't actually do it, but just
theoretically, if I were to, I would.
So say, what would you tell your daughter or dictator?
I would say I saw this in it's in a reel and I loved it, but I would say you are the love of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that you should frame your thinking or try to work to frame your thinking, because I think as women, when we travel through life, we first are faced with an onslaught of subtle reasons why we should be extremely self-conscious, aware, and there's a lot of judgment that can come from being a woman, from the outside world, media, all of these things get tossed at us when we're so impressionable. And when you're that impressionable, you have no defenses to I think guard yourself against a lot of the things that just kind of come at you from different places, especially nowadays. But I think then it become the earlier you can begin that process of undoing all of the self-hate that you're taught to give yourself, the better. And it really you just have to begin and work at it. It doesn't happen overnight. I think I heard in a podcast one time that the most common Googled question is, how do I love myself? It's something that people really struggle with, it's it's easier for us to have grace for people who we don't fully we are outside of ourselves than for us. But why? Why?
Yes. Why are we kinder to others?
And so I would tell myself you're the love of your life, and as soon as you can, begin that process of centering yourself, especially when you're young and you don't have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you wouldn't have the same answer because you always love yourself. But
mine is kind of similar though, and that's to have self-respect.
I think that goes hand in hand. Love and
similar.
Respect are hand in hand.
Especially if I were to talk to my younger self and how I was in relationships and friendships, it's just to have more self-respect and walk away when it's time to walk away, and don't beg for anybody's attention. But because you love yourself and you're whole on your own. And another thing is I feel when Spencer and I met, I was whole by myself. He didn't come, I don't call him my other half, came in, and he would agree. He would say he was whole, he was fine being alone. I was whole, I was fine being alone. So together we just were able to shine even brighter. And I think that's something that comes with age and maturity, but I think that there are a lot of pressures with social media and comparing yourself, and
that's all self-love. I think that is
yes, but when you finally wake up one day and realize, wow, I'm so worthy, I don't need to do any of this, I am good enough, I'm better than enough. So it really can change so much. And there is a guy, oh my gosh, what is his name? Gary Vee. And a woman asked him, how do I keep my 13-year-old daughter safe on the internet?
Oh.
And he said, well, you have 2 choices. You never let her have access to the internet, which is unrealistic in this day and age. I tell myself all the time, I'm not going to let her have a phone, I'm not going to, but it's just unrealistic with school and homework, and they're going to have to be online. And he said the other thing you can do is build incredible self-confidence.
Yeah.
And that is my plan, is to just
hype her up so much and like I never want her to seek validation from anybody else or anything like that, and just know that she is incredible and amazing, and I grew her, so obviously she's the best thing out there. So
yeah, that's hard to, I think it's got to be hard for a parent to cultivate that self-confidence, though. I think it's just, it can be, I think a part of it too is like allowing them to know that they can do things without you, like letting them go a lot. Like that's trial by fire, I think, is where a lot of confidence is grown. But 100%. I can see how that's really hard as a parent, and I want to be helping them.
Yes, and I do think that my generation and below, so your generation as well, will be incredible parents. One, because we try really hard, but also because our parents' generation and even like a little bit after them did not have any social media growing up. So like they have no idea how to navigate this. Like my generation, Instagram came out when I was in college, I think. And so I was on like the forefront of this whole social media movement. And so while I feel really grateful I didn't grow up with it, at least I know how to handle it more as it coming from a parent, and how to help them navigate that. I'm always curious, like the next 10 years, what will it be? Like there might be something that we don't know. Like I think AI is going to change some things, so we'll see. But I think you're right. We do have some technological knowledge that will help. That will help. And so someone did say how to be a good daughter to someone said how to be a good daughter to your mom. Interesting. Oh my gosh, that is an interesting question. I don't know. I think I can start if you want me to. Okay, yeah, you can start. I think the best way, and I don't feel like I was always a great daughter. Like I put my parents like through the ringer. So this is just coming as a mom now, and like how I try to be a better daughter, and that is meeting your mom with empathy and understanding of what they went through when they were kids, and accepting them for who they are, meeting them where they're at, and know that the majority of moms out there really are trying their best. And while for you it might not be perfect or what you need exactly, like they're doing what they think is best, and they really are trying their hardest. And maybe because of past trauma, blah blah blah, it's not good enough for you or what you think you might need, but just having empathy for what they went through, because again, a generational difference. We have so much more access to therapy. We have so much more information and knowledge, and there's so much more research studies coming out about what is good and bad for kids, and we know more about generational trauma and all this stuff, and more access to medication and mental health help that they really didn't have when our parents were parents. It was like stigmatized, for Lord's sake. Like people were embarrassed if they had to take those actions to get help. So just like you should have understanding for yourself and those around you and empathy, like have that same empathy for your mom. So my answer's so different, though I agree with you, but I think when I think of this, I guess my mind goes to like what actions to take to be a good daughter. I think that's like a good way to like have empathy for your parents, but we don't really know like where this person is at with their parents. So I think that even without being in that place and taking that sort of like self step, I think just like being in your parents' lives, no matter what that looks like giving them a call if you don't live, calling them regularly, going and seeing them. And you also can like take note of what's their love language, and you can be intentional about giving that to them. I think, I'm not a parent, but I feel like what parents want is just to like see their children. I mean, they love them so much, and like have that sort of like love relationship. I don't think it needs to be too overbearing, but they want you to be happy, and they want to share in that happiness in your life as much as you're willing to give. It makes me think of, have you seen that one like Reese Witherspoon show that was like, oh my gosh, it's like Little Fires Everywhere. And there's this like really interesting line I think about a lot with like motherhood and having a child, and it like she uses the metaphor of an apple, and how it's like you want to like
like it's like having a child is like having like the juiciest, best apple, but like when you want to like eat it, like rind and all, but like you can't. Like it's like you can't ever fully have that child like fully with you again, especially as slowly they like move more and more out of your life. So I think that just taking intentional steps to like show your parent that you like want to like engage with them in whatever ways probably works best for you. I think that's what I see as being.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. Okay. Would love tips from you guys on how to date as a feminist. I feel like everything is a red flag at times.
Okay, first I need you to buy the book that's called How to Date Men When You Hate Men.
That's incredible.
It's like a really funny book.
Funny.
After my breakup, I had these two incredible mentor teachers when I was in my master's program, and one of them like literally was like took it off of her shelf and she was like, "This is yours now." And it's so funny. It's so good. So first of all, I would recommend you buy that book.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, like, what do you think? I don't know. Like, when you're a feminist,
I think I'm not talking like radical feminism. I'm thinking more like,
well, feminism is equality.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
or equity.
You just have to listen when they talk, and if they're saying stuff that's sexist and gross and that you don't agree with, like, just get up and leave. Just say, see you later.
Yeah. I mean, definitely that. I would say I think this is true whether you're a feminist or not, because I think feminism can have different flavors. And
you know what? Not to interrupt you. This is the way you weed them out, okay? Before you even go on a date, you guys are just talking whatever. Ask them how they feel about Taylor Swift.
That actually is funny.
I feel like you would know right away. Like, if they answer and they say, I love her music, like, I'm not a crazy Swiftie, but I think she's a great businesswoman. Even Kim Kardashian, too. If they're negative towards Kim Kardashian and, like, hating on her, get out. You gotta have a little respect for the things that they've done in this world.
Yes,
okay?
For sure. I love
anyone
that
who just,
answer.
like, hates on a woman in general would be a red flag.
I love
so that'd be
that
a good way to, like, quickly weed them out.
I would say, I love that answer. I would say I will turn it back onto you, and I think this is true for all dating, no matter if you're a feminist or not, is just pay attention to the way that person makes you feel, like, about yourself, about being a woman, whether they support you, whether they're putting you down. Just don't, like, be intentional and, like, thoughtful about how this person makes you feel. And if he is, like, making you feel less or not meeting you where your values are when it comes to, like female and male dynamics, then cut him loose. Like, he's not going to be the right person for you.
Yes.
And bring it, like, take that accountability on yourself. It's like the man's going to do what he's going to do.
Right.
All that you can control is whether you stay or leave.
Yes.
So pay attention to how he is making you feel as a woman. And if you don't like it, then, like, men are like buses. Just let that
Another
one
one's
go.
coming around the corner.
And the next one will be by. So that's what I would say.
Yes. And at the end of the day, like any tough situation or any situation you're trying to figure out, you have to just look at their intention. If everything that they're saying is giving you every guy that you meet and everything they say is giving you a red flag, I would kind of maybe look into that. But, you know, maybe you're just meeting all not great guys. But at the end of the day, like, look at their intention. What are they meaning by the things that they're saying?
Yeah, I think you make a great point where you also have to, like, I don't know, like, pay attention to, like if it is every single guy is, like, you are, like, hating, then you do. And I think that's where, like, How to Date Men When You Hate Men will be maybe a little helpful to you, because it is hard, like, when in a world that is so male dominated with so many evil men, to feel like you don't hate all men. But I promise there are good men out there. And I think one way to also restore your faith is if you have any girlfriends with boyfriends that you just, like, love and adore and feel like treat your girlfriend really well, like, spend more time around him, because he may give you hope.
Yes.
Like, that there are other men out there.
And he should have, his friends should be similar, because birds of a feather, you know?
Yeah.
So on what you were saying about how there are, like, toxic men out there, sexist men on there, somebody said, ways to establish yourself as a woman in the healthcare field, about to graduate PT school and already hearing sexist comments from other providers. And I can't even believe this is still a conversation that we're having in 2024.
I wish it was.
It's exhausting because women are amazing and we can vote and we can drive and all those things.
And we can open a bank account.
Yes, incredible. And so there are a lot of older men that are still in healthcare that definitely feel like women should still be in the kitchen and whatnot, which is so gross. Especially if you're going to be in a position like a PA where most of them can't even survive without you and your assistance, especially in how healthcare is today. And there's so many patients and like there's just not enough doctors. Physician's assistants are crucial to the success of a lot of doctors. This is what you have to do. You just can't let it get to you. You can't. You have to have really tough skin to work in healthcare because it is a broken system as is. Like you're going into something that in the United States is just in shambles, and you have to have thick skin and just roll that stuff off your back, and you have to have your comebacks ready to go and not be afraid to say things.
Practice
in the mirror, write it down, practice with your friends. If someone says something that makes you uncomfortable, I want you to snap back right away and match their energy. You do not have to take that. And you can do it in a respectful way.
Yes.
You can say things like, that's interesting that you felt comfortable enough to say that to me. What did you mean by that? Did you mean to say that out loud?
They will tumble.
Yes.
They will tumble.
Explain what you mean by that. And so I want you to have these at the ready and do not just sit there in silence and take it. And if it's something really inappropriate, you would need to say something to HR. There are anonymous tip lines in hospitals where you can complain about a doctor anonymously, and they should be have a little chat with. Unfortunately, a lot of doctors who have been, it's like what called tenure in schools?
Tenured.
That doesn't exist like in hospitals, but it's like similar idea where
like they're not going to get fired.
Nobody's going to do anything to them really, but like you got to at least try, because if they're doing it to you, they're doing it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So you will have the confidence to say something because you're a happiest girl.
Yes. Yes.
So that would be my advice.
That's good advice, Kate.
Yes.
I love the practicing in the mirror.
Yes.
Great idea. Because I think if you don't do that, then like myself, you can get to that moment and freeze. So you got to have it ready.
Yes. Which I think is a very normal reaction. So if that does happen to you, just know that like that's totally okay.
Yeah.
But be at the ready, because those comments are going to come and they're going to keep on coming.
Yeah.
And you might get them from patients too. So it's good to practice anyway. Okay. Let's see. Learning what friendships to take out of college. We talked about the importance of female friendships. Let's talk about the importance of, not the importance of, but like just knowing it's okay to not stay best friends with everybody after college.
Out of college?
Yeah,
to bring with you?
Yeah, so like say you had like 100 friends in college. But obviously you cannot keep up with all 100 of those. How do you decide? I think you just know in your gut.
I was going to say the same thing. This
Who's
feels like a
serving
lame
you?
answer, but I would just allow the natural course of friendships. Sometimes things fizzle, and that's totally normal and okay. And I would just say let it fizzle if it doesn't come naturally.
Totally.
And like embrace the friendships that do come naturally.
Yes, and I also have no problem with a friend that only reaches out every couple months.
Sometimes those are the most amazing. Like I saw my college roommate last weekend, and we hadn't talked in like years. We just hopped back in, like nothing had changed, and I was like, these are such beautiful friendships where you don't need to be catching up, but you can just like, I was just like, wow, even though I don't see you, I like rarely see you, like you are so important to me because like we can do this.
Yes.
It's such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So I think that, and that's also a mark of a friendship that like is very authentic.
Right.
And like long lasting when it's low maintenance.
Yes.
Like, and like you can just pick back up where you left off, and that's okay.
Just like a man, if there is a friend out there that's making you feel bad about yourself, making you feel anxious, bringing out a bad side of you, maybe you have different like morals and ethics, and what they're doing on the weekend is like not what you want to be doing on the weekend, like those are all reasons why you can let a friendship fizzle.
Like
if you think to yourself where you're like, wow, I would be so upset if I never talked to this person again, like those are the relationships you should foster.
And it doesn't mean you have to burn bridges. It just means you don't have to go out of your way to like foster the friendship.
You just stop talking to them, and if they don't talk to you either, then it's like,
then it's like, well, we're both on the same page.
Sometimes friendships end just like that.
It doesn't make either of you bad people. It's just the way of things.
Right. You don't need to have some big conversation or anything like that. Like that can just be the end of it.
Maybe in a few years you'll reconnect and like become best friends again. Like life is long.
Yes, maybe you'll become moms at the same time, and that can be something you reconnect on because people change and grow and evolve. Like I like myself so much better now than I did in college. So
I think that's why it's really important to never like really like burn, if you can help it, like burn bridges, because people grow, change, evolve, and like you don't want to miss that.
Exactly. Give them grace.
Definitely set your boundaries.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay, we can do one more. We're kind of getting up there.
I know. We just started chitter-chatter boxes.
Okay, this is my favorite topic. Importance of self-care, especially on a budget. Mani-pedis, facials, keeping up with yourself. This is so relevant because you just asked last night what's something you could do for yourself.
I know,
but you didn't want to leave the house.
Listen, I'm going to brag on the Happiest Girls. I bragged to Kate. I budgeted yesterday. I did my full budgeting.
We need to do a budget
spreadsheet.
We need to do a budget
I have a spreadsheet that my kind friend, shout out Annie, shared with me. That is like your net worth spreadsheet. So it's not just like your monthly expenses.
Did you take the women in business class?
It's everything. Yeah, I took it until we got to taxes, and then I dropped it. But I barely remember. The only thing I remember is budgeting.
We did. Yeah, we did a whole budgeting thing. But yeah, continue on.
No, but we didn't really. At least in my class. But like we didn't do a spreadsheet or anything.
Oh really? Oh my gosh!
Not
you had us do this whole. Okay, go on.
Maybe I'm forgetting.
No, but probably was 4-year difference. It's probably a different teacher and everything.
Anyway, I budgeted, and it took me a little bit of time to get everything together because I budgeted like having all my expenses from February and like loaded those in to like see where I'm at with my spending. I have budgeted in the past, but I feel like I just kind of like let it fall to the wayside the past few months. But this is like I'm gonna stick with it, and I think for anyone out there, a game changer is including your total assets. Because it brings in like your 401k, it brings in like your HSA. So it's not like just like your immediate savings in your bank account that you're seeing. You can really see how those contributions grow your net worth, which I think is helpful in like just motivating you to add to those, which you should be doing to the best of your ability, because it's not like it's like sometimes you like put it in there and you're like, well, what did I even just do? I just like lost money, but you didn't. You are gaining money quicker than if you hadn't contributed, and you can see it if you like track it and keep it alongside your other expenses. So like I feel much richer today than I did, because it's like you have all that money in your 401k and your HSA, even though you can't touch it, it's like that money is still your money
too. Both of those are tax-free,
and it's growing tax-free for you.
Take advantage of that kind of stuff. Yeah, Spencer and I are also in our saving era, and like we probably will be for a very long time. So
yeah,
I'm 100% all for what you're doing.
Yeah, anyway, back to our original question. I was thinking, like, how do I want to treat myself? Because I want to associate budgeting with positivity to, like, keep myself wanting to do it. Yeah. So I got myself some sushi and a little Levain cookie, and I watched old episodes of Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, love that.
And read. I'm reading ACOTAR, if you know, you know.
I don't know. But
the girlies will know. The girlies will know.
But anyways, the self-care to me is a hobby. Well, not even just a hobby. It's a lifestyle. It's necessary because, first of all, you're taking care of your skin, which is your largest organ.
Did they say tips, though? Or, like, our general? What was the question?
The importance of.
Oh, okay.
Importance of self-care even on a budget, which, like, Mary B and I have both lived on a budget. Mary B
still live
speaking on her budget right now.
Remember when I lived with you in New York? I don't even want to speak what I was bringing home and like sleeping on that couch. I budgeted everything down to the cent. I stopped buying coffee because I couldn't afford it. It adds up.
It really does. But like, if it feels good for you to have everyone has different priorities too, and like everyone can have different ideas of what self-care is. Like for me, getting my nails done is self-care, and like my toes done is self-care. Mary B probably has a different idea. Like to her, reading a book is self-care, but to me, like watching reality TV is self-care. So all of these things are good.
Wait, I like this. You say what's your self-care, and then I'm going to say what's mine.
Okay, my self-care is definitely facials, massages, things that make my outer self feel good. Making sure like my nails are done, my toenails are done, I have a spray tan, my eyebrows are dyed. Because when I look good on the outside, I feel better emotionally on the inside.
So real. Yeah.
And so to me, like that is, I'm literally taking care of myself. It's in the name. Like it's so important. And also when you're doing your skincare and you're getting facials, like your skin is your largest organ. That's very important that you take care of that. So if it makes you feel good, it's so important, and you should put that in your budget. And you can do things, you can get a manicure and a pedicure. You could just do a paint change, $10, get your little manicure. You can go to the massage parlor on Chambers Street, $30 for a 30-minute back massage. You can go to Glow Bar.
Wait, I didn't know that. Send me that link.
Yeah. You can go to Glow Bar or like a place like Heyday. You can get a very affordable facial, silver mirror. So, and there are a lot of amazing skincare products that are really not that expensive. So there are a lot of things that you can do on a budget, and I think you should never have any shame in putting that in your budget. You should, I think, like, what does your budget say? I think that 30% of your budget should be like things you want, not things you need, not things that you need to save for. Like 30% should be what you want to do. Like you have to live your life. Yeah. It's like you need to enjoy it. Yeah. So
mine's a little less because I pay so much for rent, but it's around there.
That's hard. When rent is taking a lot. Rent and like other necessary bills, that definitely makes it harder. But even if it's just once a month, like that's why it's like a third wife day. It is a third wife day.
It's a third wife.
You have the energy of a third wife. You're allowed to hone it in once a month. Like it's okay.
I would say all of those definitely fall underneath my self-care, but I would do those more like fewer and farther between. I would say like my regular self-care. I mean, I paint my own nails. No wonder they like so good right now. They're actually like falling off. I need to repaint them. But I paint my own nails, and like I have like at-home tanning spray. So that's not really what mine looks like necessarily. I will get a massage every once in a while, but it's like when I need to. But more than anything, like my regular routines are like taking a walk and listening to like something is self-care. Like workout classes are self-care for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Like SoulCycle is my self-care.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I would say like therapy is a form of self-care.
Ooh, that's such a good one.
I would say like, let's see. Honestly, like I gotta shout out another podcast. Listening to The Toast is self-care. I feel like it's just because I don't do it for literally any other reason than enjoyment. Giggles. Like I like to listen to like, you know, like listen to like intellectually stimulating things. When I listen to The Toast, it's because I want to and like I'm enjoying it for no other reason than I just enjoy it. And we hope you feel that way about this podcast. But
we also do hope it's educational.
Yeah,
a little bit
for sure. A little bit. Remember, these are opinions.
We're not doctors or anything.
So I think that's like my form of self-care, and self-care also for me can look like allowing myself to like be alone when I need time alone, and huge. Also forcing myself to have like interaction when I'm like know that I'm just like squirreling myself away. Yes, that's really what that's how I think about my self-care.
Those are all really good and really important.
Yeah, it's more like active. Like I feel like my self-care is like more active.
Which is good. You're taking care of your body when you're doing that. Those are healthy habits.
Getting outside, listening to The Toast. Yeah. I love The Toast. Shout out Claudia and Jackie.
Yeah. If you guys ever become happiest girls,
we're toasters. We can do it. I feel like we scream toasters. Yeah. Claudia just got a new dog. I'm so happy for her.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Romeo. So happy for her. That's a good question. I will say just philosophically, self-care, like in the same way that you budget, in the same way you budget your finances, I recommend, and what I like to do with my life is like budget your time and like budget your life. Like your life is, you only have so many hours in a day, and life is a pie chart. And I think one of your pieces needs to be self-care. I think one can be work, one can be personal life, one can be self-care, one can be, you know, like just factor that into your pie chart of life because it's very, very important. And like you can't pour from an empty cup. Right. So make time for it.
Yes.
Make time for it.
Yes.
You'll be so much happier. And it's never selfish. And it's not selfish because you will be a better person for others when you take care of yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel like that is just like a thing women take on, that like taking care of themselves is some sort of like negative and like they don't deserve it, and like especially moms, like you deserve it.
You 100%. Moms are superheroes.
Working moms, like they feel like they don't deserve. You do deserve.
Yeah.
You do deserve.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I feel like, shall we end?
Yes, we shall.
Well, thanks for listening to this episode 2 of season 2. And I guess, what else? Do you have anything else to say?
I don't have anything else to say.
Happy International Women's Day!
Yes!
Women, we love you.
Yeah.
You're superheroes.
You're the best. Girls are the best. Go girls.
Girl power.
Yeah, girls rule. Anyways, that's all we have for you today.
Monday Reset!
Let's go!